I'm here to listen. Why am I walking on this way?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Muse's AT-Podcast, where you can relive my epic journey with me. This is Muse, and what follows is my Appalachian Trail story. And I know that on episodes like the one you're about to hear, I've often played with the tagline a little bit, because my original tagline talks a lot about, well, me. You can relive my epic journey with me, and it's following my Appalachian Trail story. And on an episode like this one, I want to cast that net a little bit wider. But what I'm recognizing here is that my Appalachian Trail story encompasses all of these other Appalachian Trail stories. So I'm going to be here with Ratatouille and Shotgun. It could easily be either one of those guys starting this intro and talking about it being their Appalachian Trail story, and I would feel like that being a very shared experience. So I hope it comes across that way. I don't know. Maybe I'm not really even talking about much right now, but that's what I feel. The upcoming episode is great. This was at the very end of our roughly a week, a little bit less than a week, probably 3 or 4 days, right around Hot Springs, North Carolina, or at least Hot Springs was kind of home base, as Ratatouille and I met Shotgun there, hiked about 3 days south, and then came back and wrapped up the weekend right where we had started at the Iron Horse Station Inn in Hot Springs. So we sit down. It is a busy inn around us because we're in the restaurant area. So you'll get a little bit of that. You'll get a lot of that noise in the background. It's a very special interview to me, wrapping up that week and that experience. And I'm very happy to now be able to bring it to you. I hope you enjoy it. All right, I am here back in the Iron Horse Station Inn. I'm with Shotgun and Ratatouille, and we have just had an amazing week. We'll get started right here in the present. So, how are you guys feeling right now after the week that we've had? We'll start with Shotgun first.
The week was a great week. But I'm tired. I've been in the rain for 4 weeks, so there's that aspect of it. Supposed to head out this morning, but I'm probably going to take a couple of 0 days to dry out, and have had a fantastic week with my friends here, and it's really helping me on the end of my trail, lift my spirits.
Excellent. Ratatouille.
Same. I'm very, very, very sore. I forgot about the elevation on the AT. But all in all, it's been a really good time. Wet time, but good time to be with all you guys.
Yeah, it's been amazing hanging out with you guys this week. It's been really cool.
You too.
Thank you. So let's see. This may go a number of different ways because I want to catch updates from both of you. Ratatouille, you've been on the podcast before. Shotgun, you have briefly at Trail Days.
Yes.
But we don't even have a lot of your story. So maybe we start there first and say, I'll catch you for a full length sometime later, but let's at least just to ground us and bring us up to speed, maybe we put your 2025 journey in a nutshell. Okay. If you can kind of just talk a minute or two, whatever, on 2025 for you.
All right. Yeah, so how I got the name Shotgun, maybe that helps with the beginning.
Absolutely.
Of how I found the trail. And my wife and I were hiking on Springer Mountain in the middle of May of 2025. We didn't know much about what Springer Mountain was, but people suggested that we go up there and take the forest road and hike the mile and see Springer Mountain. And so we did that and took some happy selfies in front of the Springer Mountain plaque, and I think we became possessed after that. I don't know what happened, but within 3 weeks I was on top of Katahdin with all new equipment and ready to hike the trail, or unready to hike the trail. So that's how I got the name Shotgun. I was in over my head and went way too quickly, so with little preparation, so it's like a shotgun wedding. And then slowly, I was a neophyte. I was green. I didn't know much.
Like we all were, right?
Like we all were. Overweight, out of shape, old, and all the signs said I shouldn't be doing this. But the one hope that I had is just one foot in front of the other. That's all you have to do on the trail. You know, if you have the goal to do it, it's just, and you'll figure everything else out, which I did. So yeah, so the trail, I don't want to go too long on this nutshell, but...
Go for it, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, so I barely made it up and down Katahdin. My wife, Jennifer, did much better than I did. It took us 11 hours because of me, not her. Thank God I had poles. I've never hiked with poles before. And I would not made it down Katahdin. And then took time off and kind of healed. And
So you took a 0 day after Katahdin.
I took a 0 day after Katahdin, then hiked that 10 miles right before
That's what I did. Yeah.
the 100 mile,
Okay.
and took 2 more 0 days.
Where at?
Because my friend said the way to be successful, especially as I'm older, is to start really slow and give yourself time to heal, especially at the beginning. It's where you've seen most people fail.
Yep.
It's the way to go. Springer's not going anywhere. It'll be there when you get there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant advice, but then I headed into the 100-mile wilderness, which was a trial by fire. From the hikers I've spoken to, it doesn't get much worse in conditions than it was. I didn't see any peaks. I was getting into shape, could barely make it up those mountains. All the youth who I used to pass when I was young were passing me and making, your spirits like, oh my God, what am I doing? I can't do this. But I told the story, that's how I got my name on to Spicy and Ribbit, who you've met. They heard the story and they say, I dub you Shotgun. You can take it or leave it. And I said, I'll take it. And then, by the way, my wife became riding Shotgun, so that's a funny side. So. Yeah, and then we made it through the biggest torrential downpour that they had on recorded history with I forget how they measure the amount of water, the volume
flow,
of water.
yeah, the
that
volume,
consumed.
yeah.
The highest had been in the hundreds, and this was 3,000 or something. It was crazy. So they shut down.
Shotgun, yet another one of my friends who was out in that rain.
So they shut down the trail, the crossings. Many people were verging on trench foot, including myself. Had to dry out my feet. Learned a lot. Then came to Shaw's, and Poet is the one who probably helped me succeed in this at the next level. So did the
Shakedown?
the shakedown, exactly.
Yeah.
And bought some good equipment from him. He had an excellent resupply, and that was probably key to the further success of the trail. And then basically
He also diagnosed your trench foot, right?
Yes, he did.
You told us about that earlier this week.
Yes, he did. He my feet were burning, and I didn't know why. I had no blisters, and I kept checking my feet. And just to make them feel better, I kept soaking them in cold water in the streams, which is the opposite of what I should have been doing. But I didn't know any better. But he said, as soon as I got there, he said, get your ass upstairs, soak them in salt water, and then you're going to need to dry out for a couple of days, and pray that you don't actually get trench foot. So I got lucky and left camp. They were still burning a little bit, but I was safe. And so then you guys, I hooked up with you guys in New Hampshire, I believe, or
Yeah.
Maine. Oh yeah,
Maine,
sorry,
Maine for the two of
Maine
you.
for Ratatouille and I. Sorry, Ratatouille. It's okay. My mind just melds together.
Oh, no, you're
different
fine.
experiences.
You were thinking of the three of us together, and that was New Hampshire.
Yeah, we met at Shaw's, actually,
And
yeah.
a lot in Maine. Yes, we did Maine. That's where I met Pastor Frank, Frog, a lot of people at Shaw's. You have a short conversation, and then later down the trail we would hook up, and so. My wife hikes with me for a week at a time or so here and there. She does all the hardest routes, it seems, and she does amazingly well. She does stuff I could never do, dropping into the presidentials and hiking. Awesome. And then so last year went 1,500 miles from Katahdin to halfway through Virginia, which is Daleville. And this year I had to pick up at 700 miles to left, and now I'm down to, I don't know, what is it, 250 or something? 280? I don't know.
No, it's not even that much.
Oh, really?
You're like
230
200,
maybe?
I think. Yeah.
Oh, 200? Okay.
Something around there.
220. I haven't looked up the numbers, but how's that for a little recap?
That was perfect. And let's talk about getting off the trail in Daleville. So, what drove that? Because you had some things you wanted to attend to at home, right?
Yeah, so that was a hard decision because I was in peak hiking form and I was loving Virginia in October, and I like the cold, even though I'm from South Florida. I love extreme cold or extreme heat usually, but that was really good. You could ride those ridges and just see, there were no leaves, so you could see off into both directions. Just beautiful. So it was hard because I was in peak hiking form. I could do 20, 25 miles and not even feel it. Like I was, okay, what are we doing next day? So that was the peak of my form. And I knew if I got off trail, it was going to be a challenge. But I hunt every year, and the fellow I hunt with, he's a little older than I am, and so it's kind of precious, to get my deer every year, and it's a good experience. So that was one consideration. We do that in the beginning of November. And then my house was flooded in Florida, and it had been hit by a hurricane 2 years earlier, so it finally had been finished, so I really wanted to get back and enjoy it before the next flood or hurricane for a little while. And so I went and decided to get off the trail and take the winter off. I didn't know how long it was going to last. I was originally planning to get on the trail in March, but I went all the way to end of May. Jen and I headed up, and then we got on the trail in June. It was almost like the same time, June 9th, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, was that after you had to take a break? Because you started, then I think you got noro.
Well, going back, I want to say this, because this post-trail depression thing is very real. I didn't know about it, caught me off guard, and I didn't even want to move off of my couch for about a month, or maybe probably longer. So it was a very strange thing for me. But then once I read up on it, and I saw that even the younger hikers, many are susceptible to this, once you know what's going on, it helps a lot. So yes, then my wife and I got back on the trail, and we did 2 days, and then she got the norovirus, and I took care of her. We were in a shelter. Luckily, there's not many people there. And then we got her down to Salem, north of Roanoke. And then 2 days later, she was healing. So norovirus is like 1 day of, down and out, can't do anything. And then 2 days basically of recovering, and then you're good to go. But I got a little worse than she did. I think probably because I was taking care of her, but anyway.
But that's what pushed you into June, right? Because we talked to you at Trail Days.
Exactly.
And then you were getting on trail, but then there was a delay.
That was
May 15th.
So that early.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
So we took like a little vacation before that, then we got on, and then we hiked a few days, and they got the norovirus. And then it was another week after that before I got started.
All right, well, Ratatouille, I'm going to bring us up to the present.
Present? Me?
Well, the present. Yeah, let's do the present. So, when we talked, you were visiting me in Concord.
Yes.
Because you were on your cross-country adventure back to your home in eastern North Carolina. So, actually, maybe even fill in what that was again, but then go forward from there, because you've been doing some really cool stuff that I will have told my listeners about a little bit until, before this point, but kind of go into a little bit of detail there.
Yeah, sure. So just, I guess, to recap from the beginning, when I got to your place the first time, I had just finished up a cross-country road trip. I had hit pretty much drove from California, where my car was, all the way back to the East Coast, North Carolina, like you said. I hit a bunch of national parks along the way, saw some friends, spent a lot of time in Colorado, Grand Canyon, did some backpacking, but all in all came back to Concord. That's where we met. But after that, I went home for a couple months, and then I decided to jump on a plane and go hike Scotland National Trail, it's called. And what that is, it's a 550-mile trail from the southern border of Scotland, kind of more on the east side of Scotland, up to the northwest side of Scotland, to a place called Cape Wrath. That's the end. And it's kind of an interesting trail because it's something it's not really comparable to the AT. It's very different. What I mean by that is you're doing a lot of like city kind of walking. One part from Edinburgh all the way to Glasgow is you're walking along the canal the entire time, going through different cities and seeing, I guess, just a bunch of different guess, ways of living. You can edit that. But what I mean is,
It's a keeper.
It's a keeper.
This is live.
This is live.
No edits.
But I think
This is Shotgun here. I'm just being funny.
He thinks.
Nah, the coolest thing about Scotland, though, is like they have a right to roam law. So that means that you can literally, pretty much within reason, camp anywhere. So it means that, like, as long as it's not within view of a structure and a couple of other rules, you can camp anywhere. In the cities was really difficult, though, because you wind up trying to hide in parks, and no one really knows what the Scottish National Trail is, so you definitely look homeless, and you get treated as such. So it was very different than being on the AT, where a lot of people...
The AT, they know.
They know.
They've seen hikers.
Yeah, they've seen hikers, and they know the smell, and they know the look, and it's okay, and people still greet you with a friendly face, but it was very different. I actually didn't shave on the AT, like my beard, but I did on the S&T because you could really tell the difference once I started looking Amish. But anyway, moving on. After that, it got really beautiful towards the northern sections. It's where things really start opening up. The one thing that's different between the AT and the S&T is how exposed the S&T is. There's no trees, so it's like any bit of wind, any bit of rain. I mean, and also, too, Scottish weather. I mean, I know Shotgun's been in a lot of rain recently, but Scottish weather, it's like by the hour. It would be snow, it would be rain, it would be hail, it would be wind that'll blow you over, and then it would be scorching sunshine all in an afternoon. And it mentally starts getting to you in terms of like layering up, layering down, layering up, layering down. And I think it's the first trail that I definitely had a couple breakdowns, but I was okay. And I guess the other thing too that was really annoying versus the AT is the footing, because like in the Scottish National Trail there is trail, but a lot of times it's overlanding, and you're overlanding through bogs. And I've never really navigated bogs before in my life, and you think you know what mud is until you're like knee deep.
And they don't have planks through the like. There are some bogs on the AT,
Yep.
but generally they'll have planks for us to walk through them.
Exactly.
You didn't have anything like that, did you?
Anything. All you're doing is like quicksand. You're walking 2 feet, stabbing the ground around you to see if you can walk again, stabbing around you. And it's so slippery. I fell one time. I fell 20 times in one day. I snapped both my trekking poles. The Scottish National Trail is no joke. It's a lot of fun, though, if anyone wants to do it. Would recommend it. But yeah, once you get up to the north side, beautiful. The north side is called the Cape Rat Trail, so you actually meet a lot of hikers because it's a pretty well-traveled trail in Europe. It's the hardest one in the UK, they say. I will say that's kind of cool. You finally get a little trail culture, and you get to hang out with people. Overall, I would say that the trail is, in terms of cardio, I would say a lot easier than the Appalachian Trail because there's really not much elevation. There's a ton of peaks in Scotland, but you don't really go over any of them. You stay in a lot of the glens and you stay in a lot of the meadows. So, and it's also, too, in the very beginning, I mean, you can literally hike town to town. You don't even need to carry food that much. So, very beginning is really nice. The very ending, again, I would say that there's just not much elevation gain. So, if you're looking for a nice hike, it's pretty good. So yeah, I finished that up in, I want to say late May, early June. I'm bad at this.
That sounds about right. It is funny to the listeners out there. Carrie, my wife, was asking Ratatouille about his adventures before we came out here, and he couldn't put the dates to it at all.
Yeah.
I actually helped more than I think you could. But I'm from following him. I think we were late May, early June here at this one. I think so.
You know what you're on? Okay.
Probably mid to late May, because then you had the Ireland stretch before you got to Iceland, right?
Iceland, yeah. So yeah, I think it's like, when you're on vacation, you forget the day of the week. Well, when you're on hiking, you forget the month.
Right.
It's totally crazy.
Why do you need to know what day it is anyway, right? Yeah.
But anyway, so after that, Muse was alluding to it, I got on a plane and I went over to Ireland, where I started in Belfast and I went down to Dublin, just kind of road tripping, nothing too crazy. Did a few things in the cities. It was more of a city thing, but I did get to hike the Mournes, which are in Newcastle. That was a super beautiful place. I actually knew nothing about it. I was just kind of Googling things, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And I went there. Went to the Giant's Causeway and a couple of other kind of very touristy spots. But I would definitely say if anyone's down to hike, the Mournes were amazing. I will say, too, that they do allow camping there, even though it's not allowed. I didn't know that until I passed a Girl Scout troop that told me about it.
Okay.
So would recommend that. But honestly, the highest winds I'd ever had in my life was actually at the top of that. I only had one day to hike, and of course it was storming and raining. So I forced myself out, and it was an experience. But,
So compared to, because we talked before about Madison.
Madison, this is worse.
This is way, okay. All
I've
right.
never been, you come, there's a wall, luckily, at the top of it, and you're along the wall, but when you come around that wall where the wind is, I lost my footing. My glasses flew off. That is how crazy the wind was. So it was really cool. Refreshing, but... But anyway, so then after that, I went down to Dublin, hung out, and then I went to Iceland. And in Iceland, I did I'm going to butcher the name because I'm not good at these names, but... So sorry for any of the Icelandic listeners out there.
Right.
I'm going to say Lanalavagar Trail is what it's called, and it's their premier hiking trail. Again, I knew nothing about it. I got a deal with the airline I was with that let me have a layover there. So I was like, oh, well, I'll go to Iceland. By far, one of the most spectacular trails I've ever been on in my life. Iceland has some of the landscape that I have just never seen. Things that are just alien. Moldy green looking mountains and yellow mountains and I don't know, these lava fields that just go on forever. And it's really a weird place to be. I don't know how a better way to explain it. There's no trees either, so it's just wide open 360 views everywhere. I actually made the Lunavagar Trail a little longer. It starts technically in Thorsmork, but I started in Skogar. It's about, if I remember correctly, 50, 60 miles all the way up to, I'm going to Landemannalager, I think is how you pronounce it, which is the very top, and it's this area in which it's closed most of the time.
I'd help you with those pronunciations if I had any way to do so, but you're doing great from my point of view.
Thank you. I'm very confident in Skogar and Thorsmork. I think I'm on that. But the other ones, I have no idea. But yeah, it's great. You hike hut to hut. I was extremely, extremely lucky because they had a really late opening because they had 4 feet of snow in April or something. But long story short, there was hardly anyone in the huts, which is kind of unheard of. There's a couple times where there's big groups, but for the most part, I found a nice hiking group of 4 people, and we hiked all the way through together, which was good. Again, can't say enough how spectacular it was. Just, you got to do it. You got to do it to understand it. And after that, just flew home and hung out with my parents for a bit, helped them with the house, and now I'm here hanging out with you guys.
Very cool. And the very beginning of that was you filling in a bunch of national parks.
Yeah.
And before we jump over to Shotgun again, because I want to do that, we haven't heard from him in a little bit here, but I want to ask you, what is it you're doing next? Because you've got kind of a big thing coming up.
Yeah, I guess I got all the way to September planned, so I'm about to drive up to see some friends in Chicago and actually link up with Utag in Madison.
Yeah.
I'm going to go spend a day with him. But I'm going up to this national park on the Canadian border in Lake Superior it's actually an island, Isle Royale. It's the last national park in the lower 48 I haven't been to.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm doing a week backpacking trip with some friends there, so it's going to be a really good time. And then I'm going to go do an eastward kind of loop of Canada. Riding Mountain National Park is where I'm going. I think it's above North Dakota. And so I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to go over to Montreal, whatever. It's a big loop. I think there's 4 other national parks. And then I'm going to come back through New York.
This is a road trip.
This is a road trip. Yeah. I'm not hiking that.
Okay.
Not in a month. I'm in shape, but I'm not that much in shape. And then I'm hoping that I can get the girls together because they all live up north. Foggy Froggy, Silly Putty, and Margot Polo for maybe an Adirondack hike or something in New York. And then, coming back down and then jumping in a plane and going to Hawaii to backpack that big island for 2 weeks. So it'd be fun.
Awesome. It doesn't happen to be a national park out there in Hawaii, does it?
Oh, there is.
Yeah, there is. So now you're getting outside the lower 48 and filling in the rest. Okay.
Yep.
How many national parks are there?
I think it's 74 or 64. It's one of the two.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
That's all I was.
Right.
I was just curious what number we're dealing with.
No, that's
63.
Great.
There we go.
Hey.
I was close. I was I couldn't remember.
So
if
you've
it
done
was
62.
No, I've done. So there's a lot in Alaska. I think there's 5.
Okay, so in the continental, how many are there?
There's 40.
That's actually the intent of my question.
50. There's 50 in the lower.
In the continental.
In the
So you've been to
continental.
49.
Yes, I've been to 49.
So it's just 50 states. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is.
I didn't even know there was 50. That's crazy because I have just a giant checklist thing. I never counted them. So
That's
actually
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
And when did you do your first one?
Ooh, my first. Well, it's easy because I live here, but Great Smoky, I would say, was my first one.
How old were you?
Probably 12. My parents were big.
And when did you start the checklist?
The checklist was when I flew to Acadia, and I was like in Maine, and I was maybe 2025, so 2019, 2018, and then from 2018 on, I did all of them.
Wow.
So 6 years, I guess I covered them all.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
that's very cool.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm excited because this is also. It actually looks pretty cool because I didn't go to that one. It's kind of hard to get to because you have to get a ferry and all this other stuff to
Yeah.
it. But
It looks like one of the more interesting.
yeah, one of the
ones, too.
it's supposed to be one of the more desolate ones.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that.
That's
and
so cool.
My buddy said there's wolf activity on an island. I'm like, what? So it's gonna be really cool.
That's really
Excited. A lot of moose.
They put the wolves there to take care of their hiker problem.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're going to take a quick break to hear from the sponsors who help keep Muse's AT podcast on the trail. These are offerings that truly enhanced my thru hike experience, so I'd really like you to check them out. Please look for and follow the links in the show notes to this episode. Looking forward to that lazy day on the couch, knocking down your Netflix queue and wondering what to wear? Quick answer, wear something else. Summit Ready apparel is clothing built for those who scramble over jagged rocks, reach the peaks, and actually enjoy getting caught in a torrential downpour. If you're someone who doesn't mind the elements and has the grit to crush the next segment anyway, look no further than Summit Ready to match your restless trail spirit. Check out the catalog at summitreadyapparel.com and get ready for your next adventure. That's summitreadyapparel.com. Looking for your next great trail read? Walk Uphill is a powerful story about leaving the emptiness of modern corporate life behind and finding a completely new beginning on the Appalachian Trail. It's about discovering what life can look like when you embrace freedom, lighten your load, and take it step by relentless step. I actually read this book myself during a couple rest days in Gorham, New Hampshire, right after conquering the brutal terrain of southern Maine. I literally couldn't put it down. I read it from cover to cover in 2 days. The book chronicles the real-life events of the author, Bounce the Hiker, in a twisty, shocking, edge-of-your-seat story that even the most imaginative fiction writer couldn't make up. Just a quick content warning, there is definitely adult material in this book, so I wouldn't recommend buying it for your 10-year-old's birthday. But if you're looking for a gripping, raw trail adventure, I highly recommend Walk Uphill by Bounce the Hiker. You can find it easily on Amazon by searching Walk Uphill Book, or just click the direct link in the show notes of this episode. So Shotgun, you've been on trail for a while now.
Yeah.
What has it been like being on trail here in 2026?
Yeah, so the greatest part of it is that now I'm like a semi-competent hiker. It's much more relaxed. You know, I think we were talking about this earlier, how you know things are going to work out.
And you're not trying to keep up with 25-year-olds anymore, right?
No, I am. You guys,
Okay.
I was trying to keep up with you guys.
He's paying me a big compliment here, calling me a 25-year-old.
Me too.
You youngsters. I was trying to keep up with you youngsters. But I think I held my own. Yeah, so very comfortable, much more relaxed. Unfortunately, it's okay, but there's been a lot of rainfall. So I went like probably 5 days straight with almost rain constant. So I shot for shelters, shelter-to-shelter type stuff. But it's so good to be back on the trail. I feel healthiest when I'm on the trail. I tell my wife, and whenever I'm trying to get myself to go back on the trail, because it's hard to get there, I know that sounds weird, but I tell my wife, and I've told other people, a terrible day on the trail, for me, is better than a good day in town.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I know hikers have different things.
Sure.
I love being out in the woods, and I'm at my best when I'm just out there for a while. I kind of center. I make better decisions. I think better thoughts. It's much more relaxing. There's nothing like a long uphill to just totally relax. You know, as you're going, just relaxing. You can't really think about much, but I'm getting to the top. You know, so yeah. So it's been great. It's been great.
Good.
Hard to do. It was very hard to do, to go from the comfort of my home, even though it's kind of like whatever, to get over that hump, that inertia, to like go back to the trail. And as I've told you guys, I'm a terrible planner. I hate planning. I hate shopping. I hate all that stuff. So it's even worse. So I just have to say to myself, just go. It'll
Just
all
go.
work out. You have a deadline. You'll figure things out. And I always do. So you got to have that in mind. Just go.
One of the beauties of the trail is that it has that simplicity to it, right?
Such simplicity.
Yeah.
I walk sometimes down the trail and I feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm like, is this all I need? I'm in a t-shirt, shorts, tennis shoes, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what did I forget?
Right.
And that's the natural state on the trail. And as you get better too, when you're honing things down, it's really all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need much more clothing than that.
You do that
You know?
assessment and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm good.
This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very strange in that aspect. I still, to this day, I'm like, I honestly did that. Like, I'm like, I must be forgetting something. It's like, I can't just be existing with this.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. You kind of hit on it, or at least the event before, but I'm going to ask it, this might take it from a slightly different angle. Why the AT in the first place?
The AT, well, it's a common story. The AT finds you. A beautiful woman I met at Marion, name was Bunny. She had done the trail twice, partially another time. And she's the one who's responsible for keeping up the Marion. She's a wonderful little dog. But she told me, she goes, Shotgun, if I ever wrote a book, the title would be this: Where Were You When She Called? And it's amazing, the interviews. You talk to people and it's something that pulls people. You don't even know why. But it may be like an 8-year thing or a 10-year thing, but people are being pulled and plan and then go to the trail. So same with me. Mine was short. You know, I found out, I mean, I knew about the trail, but I really found out about it like 3 weeks before, what this whole culture thing was about, and that backpackers tried to do the whole thing. And so, but I was in need of it. Like, my life had been difficult. My dad had dementia. I'd been taking care of him, which took a lot out of me, and so we can get more into that on if you want to do a longer podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very healing place for me, spiritually and physically. My wife and I own a yoga studio, and I'm always thinking of, I don't know that there's a better exercise for anybody, especially as you're getting older, than putting a pack on your back. And all those little muscles of mobility and balance, you're just strengthening them constantly every day. So I don't know of any better exercise than this. And then the healing part, the spiritual part, the meditation, and for me the prayer has been bar none. I absolutely needed this. My wife knew I needed this.
She kind of pushed you, didn't she?
Yeah, when I told her, when we came down to making decisions, first of all, she's very practical. She said, if you're going to do this, Memorial Day is coming up, you have no equipment and the sales are going to end, so we have to make this decision now. It's like Saturday, you know. So I looked at her and I said, Jen, you know I'm going to be gone for 5 or 6 months. And she looked me back in the eye and said, you need to do this. I was completely caught off guard.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there could be trouble in the relationship. I thought I might be coming home and there would be papers on the table for me to sign. You know? So I looked at her and I said, Jen, are we okay? And she said, absolutely. I want to hike a lot of it with you, but you need to go do this. So she knew somewhere, and I don't know how she knew that, but she knew that I needed to do this at this point in my life. And boy, was she right. It was the best thing. I don't know that there's anything else that I could have done that kind of brought me back to myself, as this hike is done.
And one of the things, a very, very simple, practical thing that comes to my mind as you're speaking, a lot of that's very beautiful, but then one little nugget, you reference being a little bit older. And I realize that I'm not with many of my guests really asking them their ages. I don't know if the audience even knows how old Ratatouille is. I think you guys know I'm 48 because you've gotten my introduction before. But what is your age, Shotgun?
Yeah, so I started the trail at 59. I'm now 60. I was a young athlete. I've always been very physical, but as you get older, there's additional challenges. But I have been surprised if you let the body respond correctly. How amazing it's been. Like I never thought I'd get the vibrancy.
You could find those younger days again, right?
It's incredible. Yeah. So I played some college basketball, some Division III college basketball, and I think that's the last time I was eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. And I never thought that would happen again in my lifetime. And then you get the hiker hunger, right? And I'm eating everything I can and still losing weight and really cranking out the miles and feeling good. No injuries, no issues, and at my age, that's unbelievable. So I'm so grateful. I've also had 2 hips replaced, so I was almost in a wheelchair, so this has been beyond. I cry sometimes on the trail with gratefulness that I could experience this. And I never thought it would be possible.
Right.
And any other time in history, it wouldn't be.
That's true. It is an amazing time we live in. Yeah. Ratatouille, what is your age, if I may ask?
Yeah, sure. So when I hiked the trail, I was 32. And, not somewhat similar experience, but obviously not the same, I guess, scale. But I felt like I was getting older too, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to hike in your 30s, at least for me. Especially, I was working, 40, 50 hours a week at a desk job all day, every day.
You feel old.
Yes, you feel old. It kind of like sucks the life out of you.
That'll age you, yeah.
And it's even like, you just feel physically like weak. It's weird because I would go on hikes on the weekend and stuff. I still loved hiking. But I would be so sore and everything would be there. And I was like, wow, I don't even know if I could do the AT because I feel so broken just from, a 10, 20 mile hike on the weekends.
Yeah.
And so
part of me is like, wow, at 32. And then part of me remembers me at 32 and I'm like, I totally get it.
Well, I quickly realized when I got an AT, it really wasn't a physical thing.
Yeah.
It was really just a mental. Not like I was mentally weak because of the amount of effort and the amount of stress and the amount of, just drive I had at my work. It took away from, what I was physically capable of. It even changed my landscape of what I was physically capable of. And then, once I got on trail, same as everyone, things take time. But when you get it there, you're like, wow, I feel like I'm 20 again. I feel like I'm 18 again. And like you heal the next day and you're like, whoa, I was sore. No, I'm not. What is this?
Yeah, the body responds and it's amazing how you pay attention to these little things like your feet hurting or your ankles hurting and you're like, I hope they're okay the next day. And they always are.
Yeah, and they are.
It's so surprising. You're like, I'm going to need a week to heal from this. And then the next morning you're out of bed and
you're ready
away
to
you go.
Yeah. I always went by the rule that if it hurt while you're hiking, you're fine. If you wake up and it hurts, you got to think about it.
Oh, good thing. And the other thing I also noticed is if both sides hurt at the same time, it's probably okay.
Yep, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Both feet are hurting in the same place at the same time. That's a good injury.
Yep.
But it's not an injury. It's like you just get stronger.
It just is what. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Muse here. Just a quick note to ask you for a favor. If you are enjoying what you're hearing, please tell a friend. I'd love to get this story out to as many people as possible. Hopefully it finds just the right set of ears and inspires someone to get out and hit the trail. Of course, if you do see something that could be improved, please let me know. Thank you for walking with me, and happy trails. Hey everyone. This is the part of the episode between the entry and the commentary, where as the podcast develops, I'll drop in an ad or two to get the bills paid. Nothing too intrusive, hopefully, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll pick up some trail-related sponsors. At this point, though, I thought I'd write an ad of my own and read it out. What I'm selling today is simply a plea to get in touch with me. I'll say it in the body of some of the episodes, but probably sometimes I won't. But I really do want to connect. Not only would I love feedback, truly, and am itching to field a question or two, but I also would love to hear your trail stories. This podcast is my way, post-trail, of connecting back with the AT community. Whether you're reliving past glory like I am on this show, prepping for an upcoming hike, or maybe you're on the trail here in 2026, or maybe you're just someone who likes hiking content or in particular the Appalachian Trail. Whatever brings you here, I'd love to get to know you. So reach out on Instagram by following Muse Hikes or email me at museatpodcast@gmail.com. Or another cool way to get in touch, and I'll start getting back to checking this regularly, is to drop a note in my trail journal if you click through to that. The trail journal has pictures with each journal entry, and sometimes I'll refer directly to the picture in the entry as I read it out, so you might want to see that. And I'll also share some photos on that Instagram account as well. There are links to the Instagram profile, the email, and the trail journal in the show notes to each episode. Whichever way you decide to reach out, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And now, back to the show. Well, Ratatouille, you have answered this question on the podcast before, but I'm going to ask you the same one and see if you... I'm just curious to see if it's a similar answer as the last time or if you've got a different reflection on it, but why the AT?
Ooh. I think I give the same... Actually, it's funny, because I gave the same answer a lot, where it's like, oh, I like challenges, and I never physically challenge myself, and yada, yada, yada. But it's kind of like, now that I think more about it, it's kind of like what Shotgun said in a lot of ways, where people just ask me and I felt like I had to have an answer, but a lot of times I just don't really know. I just kind of like remember laying in a hammock in Acadia, and this is where it first dawned on me that I wanted to do it, and I was like, I wonder if I could do the AT, and I was like, nah, I couldn't do the AT, and I was like, but maybe I could.
But maybe like, I could, yeah.
That desire, I mean, that thing just popped in my head for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I hiked the parts of the AT when I was young, and I've always been active, like at least hiking and stuff and being outdoors, but it just coming to me in a hammock in the middle of Maine. I mean, I wasn't near the AT, it's Acadia, right? It's right. The coast, and then it just popped in my head and I decided to go. So yeah, I guess similar to Shotgun there, I don't know if I really have an answer, but I mean, I do like challenges, and I wanted to, I guess, explore a part of me that has never really been pushed. I think that's big for me.
Yeah,
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
It's also hard to remember how intimidating it was at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think once we've done it, but there's a lot of things to fear on the trail and the idea of doing it. So from the animals to the insects to the disease to the, injury, and it's intimidating.
Yeah.
And you don't even think you can do it. Like, it doesn't seem possible.
I never thought I'd finish, to be completely honest with you. Not one time. I was like, something's going to happen.
Yeah. And I know my friends, when I started telling them,
right?
kept saying, are you going to carry? Are you,
I got that question a lot too.
And I'm like, no, and as you realize, it's all about weight. There's no way I would, But, there's a couple times it might have felt safer, in certain situations, just knowing you have something to fight back with, whether it's a bear or the people, unfortunately, unstable, that would probably be the most dangerous.
Very, very slim minority, but it does happen.
Very slim.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've met 2 people on the whole trail. That's all you need to know.
There's one for
and
me.
They weren't even that bad. They weren't even that bad.
Yeah. Well, Ratatouille, I want to go ahead and follow that up. So you get off of the AT and immediately have, we heard about them. And I count, depending on how you count it, but you've got a cross-country road trip, you've got Scottish National Trail, you've got bussing around Ireland, you've got the trail in Iceland, your last national park, I guess I'm counting 6. Now your road trip in Canada, and then Hawaii, 7. 7 adventures continue. Adirondacks, 8. All these continuing adventures lined up. So, what is my actual question in this? I guess I almost wanted to be like, why the Scottish National Trail? But I don't want to keep going on and why that. But like, what is it that keeps driving you, I guess?
That's a good question. I think I had this discussion with Shotgun too. I've always wanted to have like a diverse life with a lot of experiences and stuff. And for me, I have a lot of like, my mother's disabled. My sister had an accident where she can't walk very well. And my father actually had a stroke pretty young. So a lot of that kind of forms, I guess, my reality in terms of you don't really know when you physically won't be able to do something. And like, I mean, whether it's hiking or driving long hours or actually just being able to live without assistance, I mean, you don't know, and
It's
that's
not
just
a
going to
bad philosophy. None of us know. So go ahead and live life while you got it, sort of thing.
Yeah. So for me, it's almost like, you know, Shotgun was actually talking me through this when we were having the conversation, but I live my life with a sense of urgency, just because I really want to feel and do all these things, because, you know, that stuff could come to me. And, you know, 2 years ago, if it came to me and said that I was disabled or something, I would be very, very regretful that I didn't do it when I had the chance. And now it's changed where, you know, if something bad happened, at least when I had it, I did it, you know? And I think that's something that's, that kind of is like the why to your answers.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bounce the same question off of both of you. It's generally the last question in any one of these conversations that I'm having. It's
Could I add a little something?
Oh, please
to
do.
that?
Yes.
And it just as a final thing to that, it's amazing how life's priorities kind of change. You know, like, you know that you're gonna either become older, less physical. We're all gonna die. We're all going to the same place. I hate to get morbid, but it's true. And how much do the things you do in your daily life really mean? You know, and how much does an experience like this mean before you know, are unable to do that? So
Yeah.
equally following Ratatouille, similar thing. You know, finding myself at 59 able to do it, not knowing how much longer I might be able to do it. Your priorities do change and things get rearranged, you know, so along with the spiritual and the journey. So.
Well, yeah, and even sitting across the table from a gentleman who's 60, but part of my timing was I wanted to make sure I did it before I was 50.
Yeah.
Just because you just don't know.
You don't.
Well, that last question, it's funny because I come to the end of these conversations, and in almost every one of them, it's been answered to a degree. But I always want to ask it anyway, to sort of zero in on it.
Are you not getting the full answer? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But it's usually a good reflection anyway. And it doesn't sound very different than why at first, but it is subtly different, and it's a completely different question. So I'm going to go to Shotgun first. What have you gotten from the Appalachian Trail? What has your takeaway been?
Everything. Yeah, I've gotten everything. How to put this in words? In everyday life, you lose that wonder, you lose that risk taking, you lose that challenge. Not everybody or all the time, but there's a sense of it's easy to lose the spontaneity, the wonder. You know, you forget about the wonder.
Gentlemen, doing okay?
Doing great, thank you.
And this all, you get a sense of that and a lot of this back, you know, and it's like, it's amazing. You see things more again. And even though I've done a lot of yoga and meditation and pride myself on being always willing to learn and having fun, and it's still on another level. So it's given so much back. Physical health, I'll say it again. When I say everything, physical health, spiritual health, psychological health, I always say everything in the woods is true. Nothing lies, nothing is trying to deceive you. So I feel safe. You know, you don't have to double read a plan. You know, like what are the intentions here? You know?
Right.
If they're bad, they're pretty obviously bad. You know, like poison ivy, or you know. But it's the woods are straightforward. It's kind of an Eden in a way. I feel like God just surrounds you, and it simplifies all the things that in complex human interaction, it just dials it all down to the very essentials and allows me to relax in a way that I can't, which is the goal a lot of meditation and some of the yoga. And it's where who you really are kind of rests in that spot. So I would say that the closer you can get to that, no matter how, I think the AT is a great tool, one of the greatest that I've experienced in my lifetime, to getting to that place.
Excellent. And that's why I asked the question anyway, even if I feel like I've already heard the answer during the course of the interview, because it always brings more out. And that was a beautiful answer. Thank you. Ratatouille.
Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like Shotgun and I have similar experiences, but it's a little bit different. When I was on trail, actually, I guess I wasn't as conscious of the changes that were happening in me, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I would say that the one thing I did notice is my mind finally calmed. Like I was able to, a little bit what he was saying is, for me, like you're walking and hiking and you actually hear your footsteps. And like the leaves are green, like actually green, and the little squirrels scurrying around, like you're actually there and you're observing and you're part of this reality, right? And as someone who was an engineer, I guess in my current and previous life, whatever, hopefully, you spend a lot of time in your head and you stay in this world of abstracts and you're not really grounded. And that's always been a problem with mine, is because, I've never truly been grounded that much. But in the AT, it almost forces you. Like he was saying, it's almost like a quick meditation in a way. Like whether you want to or not, the trail will kind of calm you and bring you into being. But
Center you.
Right? Yeah. And then what happened to me actually post-trail, which is I didn't really notice, was like when I got home, my family and friends were just like, you're just really calm. Like I have like a kind of a calmness that I've never had before. And also, I guess the self-confidence in terms of like, you could drop me in the middle of anywhere and I'll figure it out. And it's not like an arrogance, it's just like, I know from my experiences that I can rely on myself and I will figure it out. I mean, I can go, now I know I can hike a day without food. I can go without water. I could go without ever. So
even if you could have envisioned it before, now you know from experience you can. Right?
And it's amazing. So what Shotgun was saying, it's amazing. You wake up, you could be in massive pain, but all of a sudden you take a step, then another step, and it just goes. And you're just like, how, body? Like you feel like a tank.
How are we doing this?
Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of interesting because I feel like not only did I get something while I was on trail, but post-trail, I really also felt a lot of growth just from the experiences on the trail, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. It's been an amazing week. And capping it off here with this amazing conversation is awesome for me. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did.
Thank you for having us on your podcast.
Thank you.
Again, thanks to both of you guys for coming back to the trail and hiking with me. It's been so wonderful to have that support. So thank you.
Of course, man.
Honored to do it.
We're bumping fists right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hiker fist bump. It's the safe way not to get a disease.
Well, everybody, you have been listening to Muse's AT podcast. This has been Muse.
Shotgun.
Ratatouille.
Thank you for walking with me, and happy trails.
I'm here.